Hey everybody. Welcome to another Sunday video where every Sunday we learn something together. I asked you guys on Twitter what you wanted to learn and everyone really needed some study tips. School's back in session and because summer just happened, you all probably forgot how to school, which is fine. I have scoured the internet and thought back to how I used to study and I've come up with a good list of studying tips, so let's learn together, shall we? Let's begin. Alright, now before I give you my list of tips, I need to say that the most important thing about studying, like it doesn't matter all the little tips and tricks that you hear and try, the thing that matters most is finding what works for you specifically. There are so many little things out there, like chewing gum while studying will help you remember, or like taking a certain vitamin, or listening to music, or twirling around 10 times every 1 minute. That's a lot. Don't do that. But there's so many little things out there, but they might not work for you. And so you need to like figure out what does work for you. What kind of learner are you? And that is actually number one, discovering what kind of learner you are. There are visual learners, there are audio learners, and there are tactical learners. Audio learners, they learn by people saying things to them. Visual, you learn by looking at it, reading it. And then there's tactical, you learn it by like doing it, putting it into your life, feeling it. You might be great at all of them. You might only be good at one of them. Doesn't matter as long as you know which one it is, and you have to figure out how to use that type of learning with whatever you're studying. So that's tip number one. Discover your learning style. 2, quiz yourself. You may think you know all the information because you just read it. No. Sometimes you forget what you read, so you need to quiz yourself. Flashcards, make a fake quiz. Have your friends or your family quiz you, just like by opening up the book and like, all right, well, this, and then you're like this, or you're not like this, and then you have to reread it. See, it's very common sense there, but I think everyone knows that one. Be healthy. Your brain is not gonna remember anything if you pull an all-nighter, eat nothing but junk food, and haven't done anything fun in the past week. Your brain's just not gonna remember it. You need to get sleep. You need to constantly be eating good, healthy food. Hydrate. Another thing is to drink coffee. Actually, it is proven that caffeine helps you memorize for tests. Now again, that tip might not work for you because you're like allergic to caffeine. So don't do that one. A lot of things say meditate to help with your health and then just balance your life. I read so many things. It's like if you cut out all the fun things you do just so that you can study more, it might not help that much because you're having no positivity in your life. Your entire life is stuck in a library. For most people, they need to breathe every once in a while. So like take breaks. I read a lot of stuff. It's like take breaks. Don't just do one massive sitting and try to memorize everything that you were supposed to learn that year in just a moment. You're not gonna do it. So take breaks. Have multiple moments. And then, of course, that leads me to don't cram. Don't cram! If you know about a test for like 2 weeks and you have nothing to do for 2 weeks, you're like just chilling, you're like, school's really easy right now. No! You should be learning. You should be memorizing things and learning things for the test that's in 2 weeks. Don't just study the night before. If you have a final or a midterm and you're like, oh, it's in 2 weeks? Great. I have 2 weeks to play before I have to take the test. No, wrong. Even if you sing it, it's wrong. At the end, I started making flashcards for things as I learned them, and then I'd go through them really quickly. And even if I'm not even memorizing, just reading them once over, saying them once over every single day. It took me 10 minutes a day. The night before the test, I'd already had everything memorized. It was the easiest thing ever. I know it sounds so lame, and I know you hear your teacher say it, but maybe you'll pay attention if I say it. Cramming everything doesn't do that great. Yeah, you will memorize some stuff. Yeah, it's better than not studying at all, but just studying 10, 20 minutes a day, every day, or even every other day, is gonna be a lot more beneficial than trying to cram all that stuff into 4 hours the night before the test. I mean, come on. Even if it's just like 2 days of studying, it's better than just one. Number 5, this is another huge one that people talk about all the time. Figure out what your place is, how you're gonna study. Like, do you need people around you to bounce ideas off of when you're studying? Or do you need to be just secluded? Do you need clutter around you or do you need it clean? Do you need to be in a bed or at a desk? You need to figure out the surroundings of how you should study, and then you go to that surrounding thing and study in it. Flashcards, they help a lot. They might not help for you, but they help me a lot. Writing them out and then having to say them and quizzing yourself, it's a bunch of stuff in one. It also helps other people when they're trying to quiz you. You give them the flashcards, they don't have to do anything, just read one side and then look at the other and see if you said the right thing. Another great thing is if you're having a hard time memorizing something, turn it into a story. You just make up basically a bedtime story that's funny, that helps you remember all these things. For some people, they need to draw it out. This can also go with stories, like draw the picture of what you're supposed to remember. If like that's how you memorize stuff, it's been proven that people are more artistic. It's easy for them to draw it out and see it as a piece of art, and then that's how they memorize it. Make your own study notes. I know they give you things to fill out sometimes, or you're just supposed to read a chapter and memorize the chapter. Take notes. Make your own study notes. And that's another thing. As you're reading, underline. Don't underline like every single word. You're like, and this, blah, blah, blah. So read a paragraph, figure out what that paragraph just said, and find a line or two that basically sums up the entire paragraph. And then you can make a flashcard out of that, a study guide after that, or if you just really learn just from just reading, then you can go back later and just read real quick whatever that underlined thing was. All right, 11, don't be afraid to ask for help. I hate when people do this. They like don't understand something and for some reason they just keep it inside of them and they don't ask other people. Ask for help. It's not that big a deal. People will help you. No one's gonna be like, no. And then this last one I read and I never knew it. Like all of these, as you go through school, you pick up these tips, you hear people talking about them, you just kind of figure it out by accident. But this last one I've never heard before and I read it on multiple articles and it's review the same information in different places. So like go in your room, memorize all this stuff, and then you go to like a coffee shop and memorize it again, and then go to a library and memorize it again, and your brain for some reason makes it more of a reality because it's taking it out of just one spot. If you only study things in your room, it's like you'll only know it in your room, which sounds weird, but I guess that makes sense to me because if you're like going around and learning in different spots in life and then it becomes just your life. It sounds crazy and I sound like a crazy person, but it's helpful. All right, that's it for today. I hope these were helpful. I felt like these were very basic. Like studying is very basic. It's very much just figure out what works for you. Sit down either with people or not people. Like if you're, guys, if you're like, I work best with my friends, but really you don't and you just have the most fun with your friends, having more fun studying with friends is different than learning more with friends. Does that make sense? All right, again, that's it for today. Please like this video if you liked it or if it helped you. Send it to someone who might be struggling with study tips. It literally just come down to like, do it! In the words of Shia LaBeouf, just do it! Just study! But I know school can be difficult. I know school's hard. Sometimes you just mentally can't study. But that's also another thing I didn't mention, but I should have rewards. If you reward yourself, being like, if I do 20 minutes or I learn these 10 vocab words, I can watch a YouTube video, preferably Rachel Ballinger's YouTube video. Like, give yourself rewards, set goals, and treat yourself. Come on, treat yourself. Remember to subscribe to see videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday on this channel. Every Sunday we learn together. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Gosh darn it, I can't speak. Tuesday and Thursdays are funny videos. But remember guys, above all else, stay awesome, possums.